Hi everybody from the UK. As the title says, I'm going to take you through the good, the bad and the ugly of the Model Y 2024 performance. Plenty to take you through. Some of it you might already know and some of it might be a bit surprised if you do know. So let's take it from the top. Just before we get into the review of the car, quick spoiler alert from our next review is the ventilator cooling seat cushion. As you're aware, Model Ys do not come with ventilated seating. So I've got this product from Tylard. I'll take you through everything you need to know about it and how good or how bad it is on my next video. So please like, subscribe and press the notification button so you will be one of the first to see my thoughts and opinions on this product. Right, one of the first things I love about this car and what attracted to me is if you look at that car, I mean, I'm biased, I think the colour's outstanding, but if you look at the car from this angle, it just looks stunning. It's sleek, it's sporty, the wheels look aggressive, and especially the back ones where they fill the wheel arches a lot better than what my Model Y did. My Model Y had 20-inch wheels on, this has got 21, so they fill them rims really nicely and gives it that slicker look. So the view from here, it's just, as I said to you earlier, I just think it's stunning. This is probably the best angle for a Tesla Model Y performance, or any Tesla for that matter. However, the angle I don't think it looks great from is the front, so just let me walk you around and show you the front. I think it's better than the Model 3, but if you look at that, it doesn't look great. It's not the worst look in the world, but yeah, just don't like that look. And if you look at the Model 3, which is next to me, very similar again, the front end of this car, and you've all seen Model 3, so I don't need to walk you down to the front, but the Model 3 performance has a very similar look, but narrower, where the Model Y has got like a beefier look on it. I like the look from the back. I think it looks quite chunky. It looks quite aggressive. However, I think they could have done something with the diffuser at the bottom. It looks a bit plain and basic. And I'm sure when the Juniper comes out, that will be a lot more aggressive than what that is. So overall, it's just the front of the car that I'm not really madly in love with. But the rest of it, I think, looks stunning. Just as an aside, just look at the beading on the roof of this car. Absolutely great. And this is all from when I first got the car. I put a product on, which I will show you now. This is the product. It's Turtle Wax Hybrid Solutions, ceramic spray coating. And basically what you do is you just wash clean the car and then give it 2 coats, let it dry in between the coats. Make sure you follow the instructions, because the instructions are quite specific on what you need to do. But I promise you, this will give you not only a great shine on your car, but it gives you fantastic protection. And I'm not sponsored by Hybrid Solutions, Turtle Wax, or anybody else for that matter in the making of this video. But for me, this is really a good product. And it cost about £9 in English. Don't know what the conversion is in US dollars, but I'm sure you guys can work it out. What I love about this car is the size of the boot, or the trunk. Now, if you look at this button here, I don't know if everyone must know about this, but I'll just show you just in case you don't. Where my finger is, if you press your finger, keep it pressed in, you can hear that ding. That has now set that boot opening to stay at that height. Now if I push it, it can actually go higher. So I like mine as high as I can get it. I am very conscious when you're in shopping mall car parks, you've got to be careful of low roofing. So basically I keep it there. So I'm going to set mine again. So I now know that's set at the full height, and obviously press it again to close it. The shelf on my old Model Y, 2022, I didn't have a shelf. I had one of the early ones that didn't come with a shelf. So I'm sort of getting used to it. And it is handy for putting light stuff on, etc. It is a bit of a fiddle to open and close it as well, because sometimes it just comes off in your hands if you don't know how to do it. So for me personally, how I like just to fold it back, I just put my arm underneath, give it a tap up the middle, as you can see, and then just fold it back and then fill it over like that. And that stays in position. Load up in your front or your boot, or your trunk or your boot. Trunk, to my American colleagues, yeah. Frunk's the front, trunk's the back. Please tell me if I got that wrong, I don't think I have. But anyway, loads of room in the back to put stuff in there. It's great. Again, you know, if you're going on holiday, the amount of suitcases you can fit in there. If you're a golfer, you can probably fit 2 or 3 bags in the back of that boat with still room to spare. And as we're aware, there's still a lot of storage space underneath here and at the 2 sides there. So all in all, you cannot argue with what this car offers. Now, just as a hint and tip, as they say, with this shelf, it can get a bit fingerprinty. I don't see that. So all I do is just get a microfiber towel and I just basically give it a light rub across. If I put any marks on it, just give it a quick rub down, and basically it brings it back up again. And that's all you've got to do. You don't need no cleaning products, you don't need no fancy tools, just a microfiber cloth, and it brings it back up how it should be. So that's the rear of the car. Actually, there is one little niggle I've got, is if you look at the back where the shelf is, I don't know if you can see it, there is a gap. Now this seat here to the right of your screen, I've purposely reclined that back slightly to the reclining setting on the Model Y. And this is absolutely in the fixed position, so you can see there is a gap there. Now for me, for the amount of money this car cost, why they couldn't get the shelf to fit up right against the back, I don't know. There might be some reason as to why that can't be done. I mean, if you know the answer, please drop the answer in the comments. But you have got that gap. That's the normal view in normal seating position, and that's the view when the seat's slightly reclined back to the reclined position. So that is a niggle of mine. It looks like an afterthought basically, which probably it was, because when they first came out they didn't have one. So I'm sitting in the back of the Tesla Model Y, and basically the room in here is fantastic. I'm 6'1" tall. My driver's seat is set for someone who is 6'1" tall, and I'm absolutely comfortable as anything sitting in the back here. Obviously, if you look at the center console piece in the middle, you've got the place there for your teas and your coffees, or whatever, or your soft drinks, whatever you want to use it for. But from a room point of view, you can't beat this. It's so comfortable. I've never personally been in the back of a Model Y while it's been driven in the back, but all my passengers really are pleased with how comfortable, especially on a long journey, and you don't feel lethargic or you don't feel fatigued sitting in the back. So yeah, great plus point is the room in the back and the height. As I'm 6'1", as I said, and there's got to be a good 4 or 5 inches room for me still to go. But in the Model 3, you don't get that. When I sat in the back of my old Model 3 Performance, my head actually touched the roof. So it's a little bit more cramped in the Model 3, but the Model Y just gives you that so much more room. Inside the car at the front, as you can see, I've got the carbon wrap on the sides and the dash. Could not stand the wooden look. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but for me personally, couldn't stand it. So that had to go. That went day one, and I got it wrapped immediately, and I just think it gives the car a better look. I do love the interior of a Tesla. It's basic, but everything obviously is on the center here, on the screen. And once you've driven it, and you've driven it for a day, it just becomes part of the course. So do not be put off by any doom and gloom as you say that, because it hasn't got anything at the front here, it's hard to see. That's rubbish, absolute rubbish. it's the most easiest thing to do. You know, your speedo is right next to here. It's been magnified now on an upgrade. So with all the tools and all the software updates this car's have received since basically the last 2-3 years, it's phenomenal. And it's a dream to drive this car. And it keeps updating all the time. And it's effectively like getting a new car. Quite like the Alcantara. And I do like the fact now that they put this soft interior into the panels at the side for when you put stuff in as well, because when it was a plastic interior down there, basically it's scratched and marked very easy, so that's a big plus. Looking at the seats, now here's one for you. My last car had white seats. My last Tesla had white seats, and I decided to give the black seats a try. I much prefer the white seats from a maintenance point of view, because black seats literally show up every little mark, and you're forever getting your microfiber cloth out and just making sure the dust is off it, or if you get a slight little mark of anything, it goes on and it stands out, where the white seats hit it. So for me, white seats are easier to maintain than black seats. But the quality of the seats is really good. The comfort, I really find no issues with the comfort. I think they're really comfortable seats, and I do some miles when I drive. So for me, comfort is one of the main features that I was looking for in a car, and this certainly delivers on that. Thing I don't like is the charge unit here. It does work. It's so slow. I don't know why they couldn't make it a bit more of a rapid charge on that to match the USB point on a lead in this section here, which is there. But yeah, that's a very slow charge. So if you're on a long journey, just leave your phone there and it does charge. But if you're just doing half-hour journeys, you don't get much charge off it. So for me, yeah, that could have been better. Looking at the center console, it does not come with these trays. You have to buy these from a supplier, whether it be Amazon or any other online shop. But basically they don't come, and I've got this one as well. So I'll take them out. You've got plenty of storage space within the car, but it should have come as standard, in my opinion, with these trays, because not many Tesla owners drive around without these trays in the car. And it's just, I know how much, I think they cost me about 25 quid for the two of them. So I know it's not a massive amount of money, but by the time you get the car to your taste, it starts adding up the cash. So really like the armrest, really comfortable. I am a guy who likes to leave his arm on the armrest when he's driving, and yeah, it just adds to the comfort of the drive. And dislike I've got is the colour is like I don't know, it's not a white, it's not a cream, it's like an ivory. I think we should have been given an option whether you want a black one or let's call it white. You should have been given the option, because I think if that was in black, it would look really nice and set the car off. I have seen where people have changed it and put Alcantara on and redone it all, but yeah, I think an option to have that choice, an option to change the colour before you order the car would have been a great choice to do. And the last gripe I've got with this car is the wheels. Now, again, I've done a video on this. As you can see, if you look up a little bit closer, you can see I've got rim protectors on this one. There is a link in the description of a video I did on the installation of these, which is really, really simply easy to do. So check that video out on my channel, and you'll see how easy it is to do. But again, it's that extra cost that you have to put on your car just to give it that protection. So another thing which I think is a bit cheap on behalf of Tesla is the bonnet or the frunk. So I've already popped it, and I just gently lift it with my fingers, let it go, and it goes up. Now, I know there is an aftermarket piece that basically does it electronically and it closes electronically. That should have been already put in place by Tesla. I mean, it couldn't have cost them that much more to do. And as I said, you know, when you've got a car that's this expensive, and I mean, in the UK, I believe we pay more than most for Teslas. So this, this car itself, Model Y Performance in silver, is £63,500, which is a hell of a lot of money. So just small things make that a little bit more of a difference. It's not the end of the world, but as I said, ideally that should have been done. So my final thoughts, as the late great Jerry Spring used to say, overall this is a fantastic car, because I would not have paid £63,500 to buy this car if I didn't think it was a great car. And I have got previous experience of driving Teslas before that. However, those niggles have been going on for quite a while now, and I do think Tesla could have reacted to some of that, because I'm not the first person to point some of them out. So it's obviously a bugbear for a lot of people. Now, the software updates, I think, are great, and it'll make the car better as time goes by. It'll just keep improving and improving and improving. I mean, the improvements is tenfold compared to when I got my first Tesla 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm really happy with what they're doing and how that progresses. I'm loving Hardware 4. I think Hardware 4 just makes the experience that bit better. The camera views are better, the sharper, the more crisp, so huge improvement on what I had before, and it's only going to get better. Now, I don't know if this has got anything to do with Hardware 4 or whether it was a software update or whatever it was, but since I've had this car, and it's been 2 months now, I've noticed that I don't have a problem with the windscreen wipers, which is really unreal, because everybody knows who owns a Tesla, wipers just have a hissy fit now and again and decide to go off when they feel like it. Or when you're in autopilot as well. I used to have that problem. On a bright sunny day, I'm in autopilot and the wipers would be on, and if I turned autopilot off, I could switch them off. But if I left autopilot on, there's just nowhere I could switch the wipers off. So I don't know if that is a software update. I don't know whether it's because it's a new car, but touch wood, I've done 1,500 miles in this car now and have had zero issues with wipers doing hissy fits or not operating as they should. Obviously, one of the best things about this car is the cost. Not the cost to buy, because it is a lot of money to buy, but overall, if you intend to keep your car for a long period of time, there will be some savings along the way. So don't forget, you won't service the car. It doesn't need a service. So please don't fall into the trap of people telling you, oh, you got to get your car serviced, because that's rubbish. I had my last one for 53,000 miles, and all I did was change the washer fluid in the tyres. So do not fall into that trap. Don't fall into the trap you've got to get special products to clean your seats. Rubbish. You need a damp rag or damp cloth with some washing detergent, as in washing up liquid that you do the dishes with. If you've got a dishwasher, then you won't know what I'm talking about. But if you're from a certain age like I am, we used to wash the dishes by hand. So if you just get that damp cloth with a bit of washing up liquid on and just rub the seats, and I promise you they come up like brand new every time without minimum effort. So do not fall into the trap of you need to spend a lot of money to keep your seats clean, because you don't. The big saving for me is petrol or diesel versus electric. So I used to have a Mini I had a John Cooper Works Mini in 2020, just before COVID started. And I remember filling it up, and it cost me £62 to fill that Mini up. A Mini back then, and obviously fuel's a lot more expensive now. So literally from fumes to top, £62. Now this car, I get a 300-mile range, as I've just said to you before, and it cost me under £6 to charge it to 100%. That is phenomenal. So for all the haters out there, for all those people who say Teslas are rubbish, for all those people who say, oh, 300 miles isn't enough, I do get it. So, from some of my subscribers in the States and bigger countries where they do longer journeys, etc., that might be a bit of a pain in the butt for you guys. But let's be honest, if you stop off, have a coffee, and especially if you're going to be doing more than 300 mile anywhere, if you stop off for a coffee, by the time you've had your coffee, use the toilets, etc., your car's going to be on the road and fully charged, and away you go again. So these cars are really, really efficient, and they're so cheap to run. So as I said, you know, just keep your seats clean. That's all I do. That's a service I do. Keep your seats clean. I wash it, I give it a vacuum now and again, I give it a polish now and again, and I top the washer fluid up now and again. That's my total cost, along with my home charging. Where else can you do that in a car? Where? I mean, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible to charge or to save that amount of money on any other car, unless obviously it's another EV, of course. But for a Tesla especially, you do not have to get it serviced, so please do not fall into that trap. Now, when the Model Y Juniper is released next year, I'm sure that it'll address most of them concerns that I've got. And looking at the Model 3 refresh, the Juniper is going to be very similar, and I won't be surprised if they just go that little bit further, because as we all know, every time Tesla release cars, there's always something slightly different to it. So I would imagine when the Juniper is released, it's going to have probably a little bit more of an upgrade in comparison to the Highlander, but it's going to be very, very similar. And the last one that I really love, and I really do love it, is the Tesla Vision. I think it's fantastic. As I said, I come from a car that used to have sensors, and that will only get better and better and better. So in my view, it's just a fantastic piece of kit. So if you're in the market for a Tesla, especially a Model Y, it doesn't matter whether it's the standard range, the Model Y, the performance, they're all fantastic cars. I would thoroughly recommend, if you're debating it, just do it. Just go out there and get the car, because this car just gets better and better every time a software update comes out. So that's all from me for now. Please don't forget, I've got the video coming up on my next one with the ventilated seat system, so let's see how that goes down. So please like, subscribe, and press that notification button so you can see when that first comes up. All the best, and have a good one. See you later, everyone.